What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. If you don't mind, smash that up. Give that up a Batista bomb, a pedigree, some sweet chin music, a Frankenstein or Hurricanrana, Canadian Destroyer, hit it with a steel chair, tombstone pile driver, DDT, old school Jake Roberts, a leg drop, a press slam. Give it a figure four leg lock for all I care, but smash that up. Make sure it's looking up at the lights, 1, 2, 3. It not only helps out the algorithm, which the way the YouTube is operating these days is highly beneficial because it's basically not operating, but it also lets BC know you are fully amplified. But anyway, for this upload, a superstar that was just written off TV, and many believe possibly out of WWE this past Monday. It looks like not so fast. He is not going through any portal or any forbidden door. He's actually staying with WWE. Now, I know a lot of you guys may not like that or not think it's the best fit for this individual. I hear you, but we're going to give you an actual statement from WWE which confirms that this dude, you have not seen the last of him, either with this current contract or coming back with a whole new contract. But WWE's statement I have for you, and I will give you guys that, which again pretty much confirms you are going to see this dude back inside a WWE ring. We're also going to talk AJ Lee, AJ Mendez, and Roxy, the current NXT Women's Champion Roxanne Perez. Is there a chance, possibility after what happened at Battleground between Roxy and CM Punk, is there a chance in the future they could mix it up? Well, Roxy had some words recently for AJ Lee. AJ Lee responds. We're going to talk about it. And also, speaking of AJ Lee, she has much praise for this Raw superstar who she calls a goddess. We'll talk about who that is. And a SmackDown superstar who AJ Lee says, I fucking love her. So who is getting all of AJ's love over there? We'll talk about that as well. It's all coming up. It's all now. I'm going to get a swig of coffee, and we're going to jump into it. And just a few hours ago, a big upload went live on the channel. A lot of you guys might not have known that because the tube is doing tube things again. Not putting a lot of these videos lately into the subscription boxes or the recommendations or next up vids categories. So yeah, YouTube is doing YouTube things again. But if you happen to have come across it or didn't know, check that upload out because it's a big upload. We pretty much have the new member to the bloodline. Like, confirmation. Not sure WWE wanted that confirmed, but a new trademark within the company. Pretty much, if you put the puzzle pieces where they belong, you have a completed puzzle. And even the name that this new bloodline member, new superstar to the WWE roster, the name that he'll be going by as well. And again, YouTube's doing YouTube things, so that probably didn't get out to you guys. So try to check it out. And on top of that, we mentioned Donald Trump, right? Because he's doing this interview with United States Champion Logan Paul. So it's all over the wrestling headline. So we talked about it for a minute or two. And because of that, the checks that the tube does on every vid, it took an extra hour to run the checks on the vid. What are you working your way up the ladder? Does it have to go to the assistant manager of YouTube, the manager, to the co-founder, to the actual founder? Just because the name Donald Trump is in it, oh no! we have to carefully go through this now. Unreal. So it took an extra hour to get out to you guys, on top of not going into the subscription boxes or the recommendation. I hope this is just like adjusting to the summertime for the YouTube machine, because it's got to get better. They got to get their ducks in a row, because it is wild over there, man. Anyway, let's get into this upload. AJ Lee and Roxanne Perez. I won't spend too much time on this. We'll jump over to Ricochet in a couple minutes, but this is interesting. Right after Roxy defeated Jordynne Grace at Battleground, backstage, CM Punk interrupts her interview, CM Punk is telling Roxanne Perez not to get a big head, basically. You know, concentrate on you, what you're doing, your roots. Remember where you came from. Remember what you're about. And Roxanne's looking at CM Punk of all people and says, I'm not listening to you, you hypocrite, and walks off. Literally calls CM Punk a hypocrite. That got as much traction as anything that happened on the actual show itself, Battleground. A lot of talk about that. So of course it leads a lot of people to think, hey, what if AJ Lee, she's still in phenomenal shape. She has said time and time again, she has never said never on coming back to pro wrestling. She's always been a part of it with WOW Women of Wrestling, pretty much running that ship or co-running it. So it's one of those things where you don't have to come back to the main roster and have all that hoopla. You could come back to something much smaller like NXT and rock out with ladies like Roxy. So, you know, it just piques your curiosity. You get your hopes up just a little bit that maybe that could happen. So recently, AJ Lee put up a post about something totally different. Don't even think it had anything to do with pro wrestling. And Roxanne Perez, chimed in with a response and said, Daddy's upset with me because I called him a hypocrite. So AJ Mendez responded, OMG, haha, I love my daughters. I'll fight them for you. So she says she's going to take care of CM Punk for Roxy. So on one hand, it's a lot of fun between the two. It's really cool to see that. Just such a gap in generations. Roxanne Perez grew up looking up to AJ Lee. That was her role model. A lot of these ladies in NXT especially, like Braun Breaker's girl, for instance, what's her name? Cora Jade out with an injury, but she looked up to AJ Lee and CM Punk so highly. So it's cool to see them have that banter. On the other hand, though, man, it would have been cool if they worked out a little story, got a little bit more serious, and maybe, you know, plant some seeds, even if there's not an official thing between the two, or a matchup, or a story, or anything planned. That would have been really cool, because then you could really start to think about Roxy versus AJ Lee, man. So it's cool to see him joking around, but man, if we could have gotten an AJ Lee Roxy matchup, could you imagine? Because most of us remember that photo from a few years back with such a young Roxanne Perez, such a young Roxy, meeting her role model, AJ Lee. And I don't know if we can find that. If my team can find that, I'll have them put them up for sure, that photo. But it's Roxy and it's AJ Lee, and it's like, could you imagine all these years later if they just went at it? Man, but AJ Lee, she's been giving out that praise lately. She recently, on the social doohickey, went over to Zelina Vega, commented on something, responding to something, said, "You're a goddess," to Zelina Vega. There was another post where CM Punk had a photo with a Jade Cargill shirt, I believe it was, and AJ Lee just said, "I fucking love her." So a lot of praise for all the females in WWE. And even for her husband, CM Punk. CM Punk recently signing with Paradigm, the same agency, massive talent agency that Tiffany Stratton just signed onto. There's word that CM Punk signed onto it. At first, it looked like it was just CM Punk having some fun and ribbing the whole Tiffany Stratton story recently, signing with Paradigm, and how massive that is, because it's such a big talent agency. They really don't sign just anybody. They really want to propel you outside of the box that you're currently in. And that's why a lot of us think Tiffany Stratton could have a 2-year window left in pro wrestling, because they are most likely going to want to just rocket her past the pro wrestling world and straight into Hollywood. But CM Punk recently saying that he has signed with Paradigm, and AJ Mendez just put, "Get it, boo." Get it, boo. So AJ Lee is just giving all the praise on the doohickey machine. But going back to the original concept of this story, Roxy and CM Punk, and walking away from Punk, calling him a hypocrite, telling his wife AJ Lee on social, and then AJ Lee having fun with it. "I'll fight him for you. I love my daughters." And again, you just go back to that photo. Maybe one day, in the pro wrestling world, it's the old saying, you never say never. But, man, as the days tick by, you gotta believe AJ Lee is just really putting that in the past. She's one of the rare individuals that really is just not getting back in that ring, even more than Shawn Michaels. Even he eventually did. Stone Cold said it's going to take a hell of a lot to get back in there. Even Stone Cold got back in the ring. Ultimate Warrior. There's been so many that you're like, there's no way. But they all did eventually. I still believe AJ Lee will, but damn, there's been so many great opportunities. If she ever does come back, I really hope, if it's like 3 or 4 matches total in a year or two's time span, I hope one of them is truly Roxy. Another one, yes, Cora Jade. It's the same story as Roxy. The old, not just teacher-student type thing. No, this is literally kid role model. Generations collide. Man, that would have been special. We'll see. Right now, it's just friendly banter between Mendez and Perez. Let's go over to Ricochet real quick. Ricochet has had an eventful last couple of weeks, several weeks. Obviously playing up that huge rib injury and somehow nearly defeating. He did beat Dragunov, but he almost pinned Dragunov off the shooting star. Dragunov's looking up at the lights and Braun Breaker comes in to take out Ricochet. So Ricochet still beat him, but he almost pinned Dragunov with just half his bod. And then on top of that, the big storyline with Braun Breaker and this past Monday culminating with Ricochet going through the car windshield and stuffed into an ambulance with his wife Samantha, or girl Samantha. I don't know if they're married or not, but stuffed into the ambulance and taken off to the hospital. Written off TV for sure. And many speculated possibly out of WWE because of his current contract expiring soon. A lot of people talking about AEW out of nowhere, just jumping to conclude before the dude's even out of WWE. People are talking about AEW already. And this is why we don't do that, class. Because now latest reports are saying most likely Ricochet is re-signing with WWE. There's a chance that he already did, but we cannot confirm that. But now the latest word, Ricochet is, or at least the intent is, to re-sign with WWE, both parties working together. WWE pretty much tipping their own hand and confirming that that was not the last time you are seeing Ricochet, either with his current contract still intact or with a brand new contract. Ricochet is coming back. This is an actual statement from WWE that they just released. WWE says, and I quote, Ricochet has suffered multiple upper body injuries and will be out of action for an undisclosed amount of time. He will be out of action for an undisclosed amount of time. This is an absolute, it looks like they're written Samantha off of TV possibly too for a few. This is a nice vacation, nice time off, regroup, get a new contract in order, get both sides, legal parties, all the ducks in a row, come together, dot the I's, cross the T's. That's what this sounds like to me. This does not sound like the company has just written Ricochet out of WWE. This sounds like they just writ him off the show for a little bit. And knowing WWE, this dude could come back in 2 weeks, 3 weeks. We've seen this before. So this is one of those things. I mean, WWE, that is their official statement. He's just out of action for an undisclosed amount of time. That's it. They would never put that out there if that's the last time you're seeing him for Ricochet. So where I'm getting at here is what WWE just put out as the update for Ricochet. You can put that in lockstep right in line with the latest report we're getting, which is the intent is to WWE to fully re-sign Ricochet. Ricochet stay with the company. So I'm just saying, I mean, there's always the possibility something goes awry, things change up, and he could go somewhere else, but relax on all the Ricochets going here or there, or he's going to TNA and he's still going to be able to work with WWE, but he's going to go through that portal, or he's going to be going through a forbidden door to AEW. Relax. It looks like he's staying right there in WWE. So that's the hope is that when he comes back, we've had this conversation 100 times plus. It's just like, it's more captivating, right? I mean, there's recently like a dirt sheet that just put together his top 5 WWE matchups, right? Top 5 Ricochet matches. He's been there for years, by the way. A little bit of time in NXT, several years on the main roster. And his top 5 matches, to this one dirt sheet, I forgot exactly which one it was, but to this one dirt sheet, it's a decent list, actually, but it's so telling. Like 3 out of the 5 were NXT matches. The only two that made the list from the main roster, one was against Gunther not too long ago for the IC title, and another one was just recently, a few weeks ago, with Dragunov. And I believe that's the one match that Dragunov actually won. But it took Dragunov to get to the main roster for Ricochet to have one of his top 5 matches. You know, that's what I mean. And we talked about Meltzy Boy. The top 10 Will Ospreay matches, Ricochet didn't make any of them. So even though he oohs and he ahs and all that, what can you do before the match, after the match, that's going to really captivate us and make us go, damn, man, when you're taking that journey out of the arena and back home and you're talking about all the action, you just saw the wrestlers, man, you're talking about Ricochet, not just while he's in the ring ooh-ahing you, but afterwards. Is Ricochet one of the people you're talking about? Because I got to be honest with you guys, man, in the years he's been there, I've never seen a Ricochet shirt. I've never seen somebody wearing a Ricochet shirt. I haven't. Maybe you have, and that's good. That's like a diamond in a haystack, though. A needle in a haystack. Is that how it goes? I've never seen. That's not shade. I've never seen somebody sporting a Ricochet shirt at the arena. Going to it, leaving it. I've never seen it. I'm not even talking about moving the needle. Screw the ratings, right? Unfortunately, it's unfortunate that he just does not bump the ratings when he's on. A lot of the times it goes backwards. But I'm not even talking about that, because you could say that about a lot of wrestlers, unfortunately. It's not just Ricochet. But when you're talking about in terms of really captivating individuals, are they putting you on a Mount Rushmore? Are they wearing your merchandise? No. He's good when he gets in there, flips and he dives, and he makes you ooh and the ah, and that's it. I'm hoping when he comes back, if he's going to be something, he's got to learn to start rocking the microphone better. They have to book him in a spot where he can at least have that chance to. He did okay in the Logan Paul storyline when he actually had a chance to shine a little bit more. A little rough on the microphone, like I said. But I thought that was the best he looked on the main roster when he was in that thing with Logan Paul. And you could have done so much more with Logan and Samantha, by the way. So I'm really hoping for the best. If Ricochet stays with WWE, I'm hoping that everybody lines up the ducks in a row and really utilizes this dude to the full potential. I hope we get to see the full potential. I hope this isn't it. I hope there's a lot more microphone performance. I hope he can put storylines on his back. I hope it's captivating and riveting, because this Ricochet with this type of booking is lame. And we know that because we've done this experiment for years. And by the way, if you're wondering, Tony Khan was asked about Ricochet just a day or two ago, because he didn't hear this last word of WWE's update. He hasn't heard that the latest report is he's most likely re-signing. But Tony Khan was asked, and Tony Khan, boss of AEW, says, and I quote, "If it's okay, I'd rather not get into wrestlers that still work for someone else." So that was very direct. That tells you straight up his contract is not up. That tells you he has not been talking to this dude at all. And contract tampering is something Tony Khan takes very seriously. We know that. He was pissed at WWE not long ago. So, we'll just leave it at that, man. That's the latest report. We're not going to go on about it until we have even more confirmation, or WWE just confirms it themselves. I'm sure we'll get word of that in the near future, because that was not him being written off the company. That's not what it looks like. That's not what WWE said. He's just out of action for an undisclosed amount of time. So, interesting. That's it. That's what I got for you guys. Catch the other upload, man. It was huge. It was big. I don't think the tube liked me for putting it out there. I said a dastardly name. Former president. But it's a damn good upload. Had a lot of fun cutting it for you guys, so hopefully you check it out. Tomorrow, I hope to be live with you guys, maybe in the morning, early afternoon, so if you can, that'll be for everybody. I don't think I'm going to do just channel members. I'm not sure. If it is channel members, then shine up the gold cards and let's rock. Hopefully that's for everybody, though. Saturday is definitely for everybody. That is the good, the bad, and the ugly of the Clash at the Castle. Saturday afternoon, stop by the channel. Say what's up to BC, smash the up. We'll have some coffee. We'll have some Clearly Canadians. We'll have a lot of fun. Clash at the Castle Saturday. So a lot of upload still to come. A lot of live stream. A lot of. I think the SmackDown is going to be taped, right? So live tomorrow, I might have the results. We might just go over SmackDown live tomorrow because we won't be able to do a review Saturday because we'll be live doing the actual PLE. That's a lot of info. Go get a coffee, relax, kick ass. We'll do it again tomorrow. Till next time, there will be that next time. Top guys, we're out. BC saying check you. Peace.